În kickboxing, doamnelor și domnilor, se luptă pentru Storm. Let's give it up din Luton, United Kingdom, for Andrew Tate!
He is the one that can see John Cena, hailing from Long Beach, California, introducing Chase DeMoor!
Look, I need to be completely honest with you about something before we even talk predictions. Andrew Tate stepping into the ring with Chase DeMoor isn't your typical social media boxing circus. This one hits different, way different, and here's why that matters. Tate doesn't just show up places, he takes them over. Everything gets amplified when he's involved. The noise gets deafening. People pick sides immediately. There's no middle ground with this guy. You're either all in or you want him to fail spectacularly. That kind of energy transforms a fight before anyone throws a punch. Now stack that against everything else happening here. 5 years away from professional competition, switching from kickboxing to pure boxing, going straight at the Misfits heavyweight champion, a younger guy who's bigger, hungrier, and sees this as his breakout moment. That's a recipe for something genuinely unpredictable. Here's what's really wild about this whole situation. Both fighters have legitimate reasons to believe they'll win. That almost never happens in these influencer matchups. Usually someone's clearly outmatched, not this time. The build-up alone has been telling us everything we need to know. When they announced Tate was coming back, the internet basically broke in half. Half the people started laughing about money grabs and publicity stunts. The other half immediately went hunting for his old kickboxing footage, trying to figure out if he's still actually dangerous or if his reputation has grown bigger than his skills. That question matters more than people realize. Tate isn't walking in here as some underdog story. He's got expectations, he's got people waiting to tear him apart the second he looks uncomfortable. That kind of microscope breaks most fighters before they even start sweating. But here's the thing about Tate, pressure is basically his brand. He's built his entire existence around expecting confrontation. He talks like someone who's supposed to be there. That doesn't mean he'll win, but it definitely changes how someone reacts when things get chaotic. Meanwhile, Chase is fighting for something completely different. This isn't just about defending his belt, this is about proving he belongs in these conversations. Beat Andrew Tate and suddenly everyone knows his name beyond the Misfits bubble. That's the kind of motivation that either elevates a fighter or makes them try too hard and crash. The promotional war has been fascinating to watch. Tate's been calling this whole thing the Andrew Tate show, acting like Chase is basically irrelevant, treating the belt like it's just a nice bonus on top of whatever statement he's planning to make. That approach either gets inside your opponent's head or makes them absolutely furious. Chase seems to have chosen furious. He's been firing back on social media, promising to shock everyone, leaning hard into being the hungry champion role. And look, confidence is great, but there's a difference between confidence and being emotionally invested. The more personal this gets, the harder it becomes to stay calm when your game plan starts falling apart. Those opening minutes are going to tell us everything. I don't think Tate comes out swinging like a maniac. That's not his style. He's always been more of a chess player. Someone who wants to understand what he's dealing with before committing to anything major. Expect him to take the center, keep his guard tight, move with purpose but not urgency. His jabs won't be about damage early on, they'll be about measuring distance, testing reactions. He'll throw feints to see if Chase bites, freezes, or overreact. Those little details matter more than people think. Chase is probably going to come forward with intention. Not wild aggression, but real pressure. He wants Tate to feel that size difference immediately. He wants to establish that this is his ring now. He wants to show everyone watching that he's not intimidated by the height. Here's where things get psychological before they get physical. If Chase feels like he's controlling the space early, his confidence builds. If Tate looks comfortable slipping shots and staying composed, Chase starts questioning everything. These tiny mental shifts happen way before any real damage, and they basically decide how everything else unfolds. I'm expecting Chase to throw some serious power shots early that don't quite connect. Big hooks, heavy right hands. The kind of punches that look scary but miss by inches. Every miss costs energy though. Every miss creates a little frustration that adds up faster than you'd think. Tate's gonna be economical. Short movements, nothing wasted. He's not there to look impressive in round 1, he's there to survive, learn, and slowly start taking control. As we get deeper into this fight, that difference in approach becomes huge. Chase might start pressing harder when he doesn't get immediate results. That's natural. When fighters don't see early success, they escalate, they commit more, and commitment creates openings for someone who's been waiting patiently. This is where Tate's experience becomes a real weapon. He doesn't need to win every exchange. He just needs to interrupt Chase's rhythm. A clean jab when Chase steps in, a short counter when he overcommits, just enough to remind him that he's being watched, timed, and punished for mistakes. Those moments change everything. Once a fighter starts hesitating even slightly, their aggression loses effectiveness. They second-guess themselves. They slow down. That initial edge disappears. Conditioning becomes a factor too. Chase carries a lot of muscle mass that's explosive, but it drains fast under sustained pressure. If he's throwing power shots that aren't landing clean, his gas tank becomes questionable pretty quickly. Tate spent years managing his energy output. He knows how to pace himself through adversity. If this fight reaches the middle rounds, watch the body language carefully. Chase might still be coming forward, but with less bounce in his step, less snap on his punches. Tate might start stepping forward more confidently, not because he's hunting for a knockout, but because he can sense the momentum shifting. This is often where fights turn without anyone really noticing. No dramatic moment, just a gradual shift where one guy looks more comfortable and the other looks more desperate. Desperation leads to wider punches and defensive mistakes. If Tate finds his openings, it'll be in these moments. Short, sharp counters when Chase overextends. Shots thrown in the gaps between Chase's attacks. Nothing flashy, just efficient. If Chase gets clipped cleanly even once, everything changes. Doesn't need to drop him. A clean shot that snaps his head back or makes him hesitate for half a second introduces doubt, and doubt is absolutely toxic in boxing. It makes fighters abandon their game plans and start fighting with emotion instead of intelligence. From there, several things could happen. Chase could stay composed, adjust his pressure, and turn this into a messy physical battle, make Tate uncomfortable, force clinches, test his durability. That's his clearest path to victory. But if Chase keeps pressing recklessly, keeps throwing power shots without proper setup, keeps letting frustration drive his decisions, then the door opens for a late stoppage. Not because Tate is hunting for it, but because exhaustion creates opportunities. When hands start dropping and footwork slows down, clean shots start landing more consistently. If there is a knockout in this fight, I don't expect it to be wild. I expect something controlled, a perfectly timed counter or short combination that catches Chase stepping in carelessly. Something that looks almost simple, but only works because one fighter stayed patient while the other lost composure. Of course, none of this is guaranteed. Heavyweights don't need many mistakes to flip everything instantly. One clean early shot could change the entire script. That's the risk Tate's taking by coming back this way. No safety net, no tune-up fights, no margin for error. That's what makes this compelling though. It's not just about technical skills, it's about mentality. Who handles pressure better? Who adapts faster? Who stays composed when nothing goes according to plan? The spectacle around this fight is going to be massive. Social media will explode in real time. Every round will be debated instantly. Every expression, every exchange, every piece of body language will get analyzed to death by thousands of people. Here's the thing though, no matter how this ends, it's gonna change the direction of Misfits boxing permanently. This isn't just a matchup, it's a stress test. They're putting their biggest narratives on the line simultaneously and seeing what survives. If Tate comes back looking sharp, composed, and genuinely dangerous, the floodgates open completely. Every major name suddenly wants a piece of that spotlight. Callouts get louder, stakes get higher. The whole conversation shifts from should Tate be here to who's brave enough to face him next. That changes everything overnight. But if Chase can handle the pressure, absorb all the hype, and impose himself against someone with vastly more experience, that's a different kind of statement entirely. That's the kind of victory that transforms a belt into genuine legitimacy. It tells everyone that this division isn't built just on names, but on fighters who can rise when moments demand it. That's what makes this fascinating. It's not just about punches thrown, it's about momentum, perception, and what happens afterward. Because when that final bell rings, one man walks out with more than just a win or loss. He walks out with leverage. Leverage in negotiations, call-outs, and how the entire combat sports world discusses him moving forward. So when you're watching, don't just look for the knockout, watch the reactions, watch the body language, see who looks comfortable and who looks overwhelmed. Notice who adapts and who forces things that aren't there. Those details will tell you more than any scorecards ever could. This is one of those fights where the aftermath might matter just as much as the action itself. The post-fight interviews, the call-outs, the social media clips, the debates that stretch on for weeks afterward. That's exactly why this fight matters. Not because it's perfect or pure, but because it's raw, completely unpredictable, and loaded with real consequences that extend far beyond just these two fighters.